and welcome to Ashburg, where we are not a democracy. Round these parts, I am judge, jury, and executioner. If you have a problem with that, feel free to take it up with the mayor. So this week, this week we are doing another episode of The People versus booktok, where I read books that are really famous on booktok and tell you whether I think that they're worth reading or not. Now, of course, this is just my opinion, and you might feel differently. I have my little Ariana Grande hands going on here, sorry. But my goal is just to give you an honest to God opinion of how I feel about a book. So if you're someone who tries to read a lot of the things that are very popular and you find yourself disappointed and you want somebody to read it before you do, I'm your girl. The way this works is that first, we're gonna do a full reading vlog of the book, talk about all the nooks and crannies, spoiler free of course. And then at the end, we're gonna talk about it and decide whether or not booktok is going to jail. Some of y'all might be going to jail. It's above me. So yeah, I will be judging these books. And being a judge isn't fun if you don't get like a gavel. What do you want me to say? So this week we took on the case of The People versus booktok, Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This book got a lot of heat. Before we start the video, let's just do a quick synopsis of what Fourth Wing is about. Our main character, Violet, is supposed to enter her kingdom's war college. She is under the impression that she'll be entering in the scribe quadrant, reading books, serving looks, all of that. Unfortunately, her mother has other plans, and she forces Violet to go into the Dragon Riders quadrant. In the Riders quadrant, there are way more riders than there are dragons. So the competition is really fierce and deadly and fun. For us, Violet is terrified to be in the Riders quadrant because she's so small. She's the smallest of the small. She has no muscles. She wakes up every day with glass bones and paper skin. On top of that, people got beef with her mom because her mom's a general. And because of who Violet's mother is, she's probably going to become a target. While Violet is trying to do her absolute best in the Riders Quadrant, the war is getting way worse. The spells that are supposed to protect the kingdom are starting to fail, and Violet begins to suspect that leadership might be lying about some stuff that's really going on. So basically it's a mess, but it's her mess. If you'd like to see how reading Fourth Wing went, then please carry on. Hello, I'm here with my jug of water. Actually, is jug a big enough word for this? Reservoir of water, because it's a new month, and a new month means a new opportunity to get my life together. And one of my goals is to actually start drinking more water because I can feel the effects. Right now, I'm like 78% apple juice. Good for the soul. Bad for like pretty much everything else. But my ebook library hold on Fourth Wing has finally come through. Half the people I know who've read this say it's literally so much fun, 5 stars, could not put it down. And then the other half say it's like the worst thing they've ever laid their eyes on. So I really don't want to get my hopes up too high. And I have been warned that the writing itself isn't great. But that's all to say that I'm still gonna go in guns blazing. Like, I really want to enjoy this book. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and read it if I didn't want to enjoy it. It has dragons in it. I can forgive a lot if your book has dragons. So let's finally do it. Let's start Fourth Wing. If you were someone out there who was trying to sell people on the idea that the writing in this was really good, I need you to be for real. I need you to be for real. Because what in the first draft do you people have me reading? I think I actually laughed when I read the first 10 pages. I don't know, did I make a mistake? It's written like somebody just sat down and let it fly and nobody looked at it again. I'm really having to adjust to these run-on sentences. I don't know what it is about this author that makes her think that she has to jam-pack as much information into one sentence as possible. Are you paid by the comma? Because this is crazy. And then the info dumping, like, oh, I mean, I'm only 20 pages in, but there has been no attempt to weave information in naturally. Like, it's like the main character is running out of time and she has to let you know as much as possible before moving on to the next scene, especially in a fantasy. Letting the reader know all the different concepts and places and whatnot, that's like an art form in itself. You can't just slap 3 new concepts in a sentence and then give me a kiss on the forehead, baby girl. That being said, it is not my intention to start off on such a negative note. Because even if the writing is not up to snuff, there are still many different ways that this book can be redeemed. You could fall in love with the characters, the plot could be really solid, there could be a lot of emotional resonance. I don't know. And if I really didn't see any potential in this, I would just scrap this video and it would never see the light of day, because we don't hate read anything on this channel. Okay? Plus, it has dragons. So I am 100 pages into Fourth Wing, and the tea is I am obsessed with Fourth Wing. Once I adjusted to the writing and decided that I was just going to be here for a good time, I was really able to appreciate just how fun this book is. It's so much fun. And me ignoring all the issues with the writing is not like a good solution. It's just looking at red flags through rose-colored glasses. So they're just flags. I'm separating the talent from the art. For a little bit of background on what's been going on, now that we have cemented what this plot really is. In this world, we have 2 warring kingdoms who've been at each other's necks for like hundreds of years. In our main character, Violet's kingdom, young adults get conscripted into the army once they hit a certain age. In the army, you have 4 different routes, and Violet spent her 20 years of life believing that she was going to be in the scribe quadrant. But surprise, her mother, who is one of the highest ranking generals, decides she's going to force Violet into the dragon riders quadrant. And at first reading that, I was like, ooh, dragons. But apparently that was the incorrect response, because the riders quadrant is crazy. Because the riders quadrant is trying to prepare you to potentially be bonded with the dragon, they put you through the ringer. Every challenge in the riders quadrant is designed to weed you out. Okay, it's okay, you're just having a dream. It's okay. Oh my golly, you had a nightmare? You had a nightmare you without your mama? It's okay, that's everybody's nightmare. Every single thing that they do in the Riders Quadrant is designed to weed people out. Weed whacking people out. They're trying to kill you. Because the dragons, when they decide whether or not they want to bond with you, they're not here for the Super Weenie Hut Juniors of the world. And Violet herself is admittedly a very weak person. So she's like looking at her mom like, why did you have me here for the last 20 years reading books when I should have been lifting weights? In fact, everybody in Violet's life is trying to convince General Mom that no, this is stupid. Just let her go be a scribe. Everyone is saying, hey, Violet's gonna die, and all she has to say is it's a perfect plan. You guys are just getting really caught up in the details. And I don't know what the timeline is for this book, but we are watching Violet go through all of this training before she ultimately tries to bond with a dragon, and then beyond that, graduate from the Riders Quadrant and be sent to fight with her dragon on the front lines. And it's written in first person and she's the main character, so obviously she's gonna make it, but it's not gonna be pretty, because the Riders Quadrant has literally been everything everybody said it was gonna be. I turn a page, someone dies. I blink, gone. It's literally like, hi, Peter. Peter. Damn. And on top of all of that, we have a little bit of a love triangle going on. You know that no mainstream fantasy is complete without a little love triangle. Let me quickly describe the 2 men that Violet has feelings for. You might have seen this before. Dane has lighter hair. He's very pure-hearted, a stickler for the rules, cares for Violet like she's a newborn baby, but has a heart of gold. And he's hot. Xaden has dark hair. He's the bad boy, of the Rider's Quadrant. He has broad shoulders, rippling abs, gold flecks in his eyes, and commands one of the most fearsome dragons of them all. He gives Violet an extremely hard time. She's a little scared of him and thinks he's going to kill her. Have we seen that dynamic anywhere else? Anyway, I love Xaden. I don't have an excuse. I like to think that I'm above it. I like to pretend that if you sprinkle in a brunette with gold flecks in his eyes, that I'm not going to fold like an omelet. But I So I've been reading some more Fourth Wing. Here you go. Always have to bring your loudest toys over here. What's going on? I'm not at the halfway point yet, but we're getting close. And I really think that what makes this book so good is the brutality of it all. I'm not up to date on a lot of recent fantasy, so I don't know if this is the new wave, but it's the first fantasy I've read in a long time where the author is totally down to just kill characters. She said, don't even worry about it. She's a hitman. Do you know how many characters we've lost? But it is definitely the unpredictability that makes this book so attractive and then makes me not want to put it down. Every time you start a new chapter or the writers in the Writer's Quadrant start a new challenge, you literally don't know what's going to happen. John fell off a cliff. Sandy, neck broken. Michael, the wind was too strong, he blew away. Again, I'm not that worried about Violet, but everyone that Violet comes into contact with, no matter how briefly, for damn sure I'm scared for them. Make no mistake, the supporting characters are pretty shallow. Like Violet's best friend, Rhiannon, I only know the barest details about her. She's nice but strong. She's smart and she's horny. That's kind of the list. She mostly just exists as like a sounding board to Violet. And then the other supporting characters, I know even less about them. But because the author keeps us in this constant state of these people are dying around us, every time I start a new chapter and one of these characters pops in, I'm like, oh, my baby. So I mean, good for her for making me care about characters that are as deep as piece of paper. Oh, but one of the other things I like about this book is that the dragons are not your friends. Like, yes, the dragons will pick you to bond with, and once they do, they are loyal to you and I think carry some affection. But outside of that, they don't care what you got going on. And up until you're bonded, they'll do whatever they want with you if they feel like it. The dragons are at the top of the food chain. They know it, the humans know it, and they have to respect the hell out of that bond, lest the dragons turn us all into mozzarella sticks. We're about to go ahead and finish Fourth Wing up together, but before we do, I do feel like I owe you guys an explanation, because the point of these videos is to make sure that you feel just knowledgeable enough for when you start the book to know like the good parts and the bad parts. So let's take some time to really talk about some of the issues with Fourth Wing that I feel are issues. The world building really is lacking. I think that Yaros just does the bare minimum to set you in the world without giving you any detail that really brings it to life. There are constant references to the kingdom, right? We talk about the fortresses, of course, the college itself, the villages and towns within, but for the most part, I have absolutely no idea what they look like. I'm unable to visualize any real part of this kingdom outside of the War College. I don't know anything about the culture, the food, the people, the clothing, nothing. And I get that because the War College is the focus of the story, that's obviously going to be where we get most of the description, but I have no idea where we are otherwise. There's nothing to make me feel connected to it. And because of that, there's really no reason to root for Violet's kingdom over the enemy kingdom, other than the fact that Violet lives here. So I don't really have any emotional connection to this side. Maybe I'll go to the other side, see what's going on over there. I mean, it's like the author has this really big blank canvas that she was supposed to fill in, but she ran out of time, so she just ended up filling in like the one tiny part of the bottom left corner with the War College and then like a little bit of the stuff outside of that. And then every time I try and look around to see what else she got going on, she's like, look back down here, which is just terrible for a fantasy story. The second major issue I have with this is that Violet has a lot of really lucky good things happen to her for apparently no reason at all. Granted, I haven't finished the book yet, so maybe there is some type of explanation for that. But right now it does feel like she only has these things happen to her because she's the main character. She's always the center of attention. She gets all the best stuff. Everyone wants to protect her for some reason, especially because one of the biggest concerns that she has throughout the entire book is that she's so small and weak. So there's no reason that she should have made it this far at all. And then also with Violet's character, the fact that she so readily adjusts to being in the writer's quadrant when she was supposed to be in the scribe quadrant, and the fact that she suddenly feels like, no, this is where I belong, like I was meant to be here, which is great, but nothing in her character arc suggests that that's the way she would feel. There's nothing brutal about her. In fact, she hates the brutality of it. Every time she sees the dragons, she's extremely intimidated and afraid of what they might do to her. She dreads all of the fighting classes. She doesn't really express any interest in battle strategy. Like, there's just nothing about the college that should seem so interesting to her. Yet all of a sudden she feels like, no, this is where she's meant to be. The scribes. So those are my biggest criticisms. I mean, I'm here and I'm still having fun, so I'm gonna stick beside her. If you're the type of person who has their critical thinking cap on 100% of the time, danger! Danger! Don't pick this up. But if you're like me and you have your critical thinking cap on like 85% of the time, and then the other 15 you're down to clown, it's fun. But let's turn our attention to actually finishing up Fourth Wing and seeing how we feel about it. Wait. Oh. Damn. Messy. Okay, so see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to give anything away, but there is a big reveal. And I feel like if the author had spent some time fleshing out the worlds a little bit better, then this would have hit me a little harder. I don't know how much of the story that reveal is supposed to change, because I don't have enough details about the world itself. So I don't know. Does it matter? I think she was expecting that to like punch me in the face. It just kind of brushed my cheek a little bit. I really can't believe that. That is after, you know what? Anyway, we're about to enter the climax of the book now. So let's see if all of this pays off, because I know that I'm scared, but are you scared? This final action sequence actually goes crazy. I'm so stressed out. It's just chaos. Like it's so much is happening. No. 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 We don't have much to go. The question that I asked earlier after the first big reveal, like, does this matter? Yes, it matters. It matters, and it tore me up. Just such a long time of being stressed out and watching all of this crazy stuff unfold. Like, it's so good. But I only have, like, what, like 25 pages left? So let's finish this up. Without saying too much, Violet gets into an argument with someone towards the end of the book that I kind of get, but I also think it's kind of stupid. But I only have like 5 pages left, so we're almost done. Shut the hell up. What? I gotta get out of here. How do I turn this off? What? So there you have it. Now you know my secret. My shame. I liked Fourth Wing. I do stand by everything I said in the video. It's not a perfect book. By any means, it's not a perfect book. It had like so much potential. Like, I'll say it, the execution was rough. It was rough. However, I liked it. I thought it was addictive. I thought it was fun. It kept me guessing. The author barely took her foot off the gas for the whole time. So if, like me, you're able to do empty head, no thoughts, enjoy a quick fantasy, go for it, babe. You're gonna love it. But if you have that critical thinking cap on at all times, don't do it. It's a mistake. You're gonna have a bad time. And then you're gonna think that I'm insane for recommending this to you. So you're not on the list. In the case of The People versus booktok, Fourth Wing, I find that booktok is not guilty. They kind of popped off. Good for them. However, though not guilty, I still ordered booktok to pay me $5,000 for having me read Rebecca Yaros's writing. That was crazy. That being said, thank you so much for visiting Ashburg. I hope that you had a wonderful time. We were so happy to have had you, and we hope to see you again very soon. Bye.